With more now, we welcome in the man my mom literally describes as the coach who knows so much about football.
I love your mom.
Good
to see you, Coach. How are you?
How are you, Coach?
Great.
Good
great.
weekend?
Yeah, it was a fantastic weekend.
Good.
Yeah, kids were good. A lot of basketball.
I'm glad we got to the bottom of that. All right, let's talk some Patriots.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, of course. Anytime. Patriots took care of the Buffalo Bills yesterday to improve to 10-2, their 8th straight win, but it wasn't a drama-free win. Cameras caught Tom Brady yelling at offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels early in the game. Guys, drama classes are on Saturday. Brady went 21 for 30 with an interception. Here's Tom now on the incident afterwards.
It's just football. Yeah, we've been around each other a lot, so I love Josh.
Coach, what was your reaction to the little scuffle, if you will, on the sidelines?
There was no reaction. And what Tom says is exactly right. It's just football, and it happens so rarely with him that it becomes that big of a deal. And it happens so rarely in New England that it becomes a huge issue. But these guys have been together, 13, 14 years, and now we're in week 12 of the season. It's a problem with coaches. When a player comes off the field, we want to give information right away. And sometimes you need to give a guy a second or two to breathe, go to the bench, sit down, gather the thoughts. But we're just programmed to give that feedback right now. And that Josh, I think, probably will take a step back next time, let him breathe, and then give him the data.
But you just said it. You said you rarely see it from him. In past years, in this season, it's just something that's so out of character for Tom Brady. I think that's why we're talking about it this morning, because you so rarely see it. So was it more than it was if we don't often see it?
No, with Tom's personality, he probably gets frustrated like that once a season, maybe twice a season. He got through it, and now we'll move on, and we'll go another 14, 15 games before it happens again.
Listen, I want to make this clear. I love the fiery players. I love what Brady did. I didn't have a problem when he did it here. I didn't have a problem when they caught him a few years ago, him and Bill O'Brien going face-to-face. It was kind of Bill O'Brien's original, where people found out who he was before he got the Penn State job. But do you think when we discuss this, there's something of a double standard? When Tom Brady does it, it's fiery, it's leadership, it's will to win. Antonio Brown and Todd Haley get into it, it's a different story. Odell Beckham gets into it, it's a totally different story. I feel like when we see coaches and players go nose-to-nose yelling at each other on the sideline, it's usually considered poor form by the player unless it's number 12 for the New England Patriots.
It's once every 2 years. So you referenced, remember 2 years ago when he did it with Bill O'Brien? This isn't something that happens weekly. It's not something that happens 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times a season. Those other players that you referenced, there's a pattern of behavior oftentimes that we're talking about. And so when it gets to the point where it is a pattern, it becomes a problem because it becomes a distraction. This is once every couple years, if that. And look, it's not an issue.
One time we had a Monday night game against the New York Giants. And Randy Moss was given a penalty after he scored a touchdown, where he actually made the DB look so bad that he caught the ball, made the guy look silly. He backed into the end zone like the last 5 yards. So they threw a personal foul. That was his 3rd touchdown in the first half. Now, when Moss came to the sideline, was sitting down, I was up in his face, yelling at him. But I was like, you're the best freaking football player in the world. This is what you're supposed to do. All right? I'm willing to eat that penalty if you continue to play like this. This is your expectation. All across the newsways, all across the news, Cris Carter and Randy Moss going at it. They had no clue what we were saying. And I was yelling at them, yeah, but telling them that's how good you are. And that's what I expect from you. Randy will tell you to this day. So a lot of things on the sideline are misinterpreted because Randy and I were both fiery players. So people just drew the natural conclusion to, oh, either Cris is not happy or him and Randy are having some problem. In all reality, most people, 99.9% of people, have no clue what the NFL locker room is like. They have no clue what the NFL sideline is like. So Tom Brady and Josh, no, there's not a double standard. Tom Brady doesn't get involved in stuff like this. But you know the thing that I thought was amazing? Bill Belichick, 5 feet away. You see how much he moved? Turned around like this. Now Tom is yelling at Josh. Josh has his headset on. Coach Belichick has both headsets. He can hear everything. He didn't move one bit. Didn't turn around. That's how I know there's not a problem. This is not your normal office. This is our office, and this is how business is conducted, and sometimes you have to get a little loud and animated to be able to express yourself. But there's always been a great deal of respect for Tom Brady and whoever he's getting upset with. So, yes, your reputation has a lot to do with it, all right? A.J. Green, wheels around, hip, throws several punches to a guy. It's fine. Not suspended. To leave. Right?
No,
so your reputation, yes, your reputation has a lot to do with your overall perception.
how much of Josh McDaniels' value to the Patriots, or maybe value is the wrong word, but I think you'll understand what I'm asking, is that he is not going to be cowed by Brady or intimidated in that spot, right? Like, Brady is one of, if not the greatest football player, quarterback ever, right? And I would think there'd be a lot of coaches who, even if they wouldn't want to, Tom Brady's screaming at them. My bad, Tom. But in New England, I imagine that can't happen. You told the story about Belichick saying that's why the C's on your chest, like that's why you're the coach. How much of McDaniel's value is that he can go nose to nose with Brady?
Well, one of the things that makes Tom great is he wants to be coached.
Yeah, I don't know why all the great players want to be pushed hard. Tom Brady every week is looking for Josh. How do I come up with an edge? Him and Josh meet so many hours together. So this is what great players want. They want another set of eyes to push them to places that they can't go to or that they can't see.
And sometimes they're going to, not sometimes, but he's going to be disappointed if Josh doesn't give him feedback, if Bill doesn't give him feedback, if they don't say to him, look, this is what you need to correct. But we've all been guilty of this, whether it's on the field, whether it's with our spouses or friends or whatever, our relationships where we say things a little bit too early. And even though you can give that feedback 30 or 40 or 60 seconds later and it'll have a totally different reaction, as coaches, we're just programmed to give that data the second they come off. And sometimes you got to take a step back and say, okay, diffuse, relax, and I'll give it to you in a minute.
And if I'm not mistaken, they scored 3 points on that play that he was upset about. But doesn't it say something about Tom Brady that even on a play where he walked off and he did get points, like he's so fired up, and it goes to your point, he wants to be coached. Like he wants to play better every single time out.
Yeah, Tom Brady, if we want to make him look good, we can look at it that way. But at the end of the day, Tom is trying to execute. Regardless if they scored or not, Tom is trying to be perfect. And he's going to accept coaching. All right? So if you like Tom Brady, you're like, I like that attitude. If you don't like him, you're like, oh, he's got a double standard.
And here's the other thing is that it won't happen again. He doesn't feel good about having that confrontation with Josh. It's not how business is done in that family. So we've seen it once. We'll see it maybe again in 2 years.
All right, Coach, we'll be here to talk about it in 2 years, so don't forget
great.
that we had this conversation. We're going to see you a little bit later in the show. Coming up, is Aaron Rodgers about to turn the entire NFC upside down? That's next on First Things First.
How you doing today?
I pity